The comments heard on The View from A Pew are those of Mac McCoy and are not necessarily the opinions of his guests, his producer Garth, any one particular denomination or religion, the church lady, Mr. Lemke, Pastor Craig, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here is today's The View from A Pew, heard all around the world on YouTube. Just search for The View from A Pew.
Thank you, Emily. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. No matter where you are, no matter when it is that you're listening to this, it's being recorded on the 5th of July in the year 2024. And I always tell you that just so you know the basis of it. And then we will, later on, we will continue to listen to different things that will help us realize a great ministry that's here in our community. I want to introduce you to Amanda Lawrence, and her ministry is called Haya.
Yes.
Right?
Haya.
Haya.
You got it.
But it's spelled C-H-A-Y.
A-Y-A-H.
A-H. And what is that word? Is that Greek? Is it Hebrew? Is it you made it up?
It is not made up by me. It is Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Yes.
All right. And it means?
It has a lot. It packs a punch. It means to live, to have life, to live prosperously, to live forever, to be restored.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of the opening to a good book.
Right.
Read the cover on the back, you know. All right. So, how did you start this ministry?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I founded it in 23.
All right. And what event or events in your life made this your passion that you wanted to start this ministry?
Okay, so we're going to be here for about 5 days talking.
I'm okay with that. We got water, we got donuts, and we got a bathroom.
Perfect. Okay. No, I'll make it short and
You don't have to, though.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
All right.
Let me tell you the story.
Love it.
I do have a condensed version, and it starts with I have a story.
Okay.
And my story is that as a child, I lived in a home with two parents, but I also endured child sexual abuse from somebody in my family.
Okay.
That's only the starting point. As we go through life, as a young teenager, I found drugs and alcohol, and I became addicted very quickly.
Okay.
And I was off and running. In 12-step programs, they call it off to the races.
Yes.
And that's what I was.
Yes, you were off to the races.
I was.
From the big book.
From the big book. Yep.
16 years.
Hey, all right.
I'm with you.
Okay. So by 22 years old, I had been arrested multiple times for DUIs. And actually, at 22, in December of 2006, my dad found me in my apartment almost dead. Yeah.
Good thing he found you.
Yeah, he was actually coming to move me out. I had this big plan that I was going to get my life together, but my plan changed, and I ended up in the hospital for a few days. Then I also had to go to jail for my final DUI that I got. And the hospital, I mean, I was on a wing of, like, the mental wing is what I would call it. Even as I'm a professional, like, in mental health today, and I still would call it that. It was a locked wing.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yes, I sure do.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Yeah, I was in a room, and people next to me were screaming because they thought things were coming through the walls to get them. So there was a lot of just sickness in this place. It was a locked facility, but I was willing to do, whatever it takes. Kind of backtracking a little bit, when we got to the hospital, I was in the hospital in the ICU for 3 days. My liver enzymes were just they were in the thousands. Like, you're supposed to have hundreds, they're in the thousands. And then as immediately after my time in the ICU, I got to go to the mental wing. And then as soon as I was done with that, I got to go turn myself in to jail. And I was 22. I was in college multiple times, and I failed out. I tried to be sober once at 20, and then I ended up going right back after a few months, after 7 months or so. So all of this happened, at that young age. And fast forward a number of years, and I'd stayed sober after this stint of hospital, jail. I found AA. I did 12-step program. For 16 years, I was in AA. And then I became a mom. And I became a mom in 2016. And God started working in my heart. And I was a single mom. From the moment that I became a mom, I was a single mom. And God started working in my heart. And he said, daughter, something's got to change. And he knew that I loved him. I had some growing up to do.
Were you a regular worshiper in a church or anything like that?
Good question. So when I was 12, my aunt introduced me to Jesus, and I prayed a prayer of salvation at 12 years old. So there was something inside me, right, that was drawing me near to this. But then you heard my story, short and sweet. Life happened. So when I became a mom, I wasn't a regular church attender by any means. I had been in and out. So throughout this time of sobriety, I'd been in and out of church. I tried to find one, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that can relate. Sometimes it's not the most comfortable place to walk into.
Right.
Especially by yourself.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And then you go and you're like, ugh. And you feel so lonely in this group of people. And so I just never found a place that I fit in. And then I found a place. I had left a job that I was at. I just found out I was pregnant, and I had started at this new place, and there was a woman there, and she took me under her wing. And she's an amazing woman, Carolyn Hansen. She passed away a few years ago, but just thinking about her just brings so much joy to me.
I can see it in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You beam when you said her name.
Yeah, she took me under her wing, and she invited me to her home, and she'd have me over at her home once a week. And it wasn't long after I met her that I let her know I found out I was pregnant. And here I was, a single mom in the church, and she still loved me. And she still brought me over to her home, and she cooked me dinner. And then after I had she threw a baby shower for me. And after I had my daughter, she had us both over, and she would play, and just she would disciple me. And ever since that, church has been a very important part of my spiritual growth.
Good.
I give it to my aunt, and her have had this amazing impact in my growth with the Lord.
Where's mom?
Mom. Okay. Mom and dad live in Ohio.
Okay.
Yep. I love them so much. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Yeah.
How did you end up here?
A job.
A job.
Yes. I was a retail manager, and it brought me here in 2015.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you still doing that?
No.
Okay. Is this ministry full time for you?
No. Not yet.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Oh, well, you said you were going to school to be a counselor.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you going to school?
Okay. So currently I'm in school getting an online master's program from Colorado Christian University.
Okay.
Yep.
Good school.
Yes. So I'm getting a master's in clinical mental health. So then I started Haya Ministries. So I've got both those things going on, and I'm actually a recruiter. I'm a technical recruiter. I do technical and engineering and accounting and some other stuff too.
Good for you.
Yeah. That's my full-time job.
And that's a good profession.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because most of the time you're on the phone.
Yes.
So you don't have to deal with, I got to be careful because now I'm going to get into my world. But I'm so blessed because I really don't work with any secular people.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not that I avoid them. It's just the way God has set that up.
Yeah.
Now, I gave you my 6-page business card.
You did.
And when you look at that, you'll realize that's my track. So when I am doing business with a secular person, they know that I love Jesus.
Yes.
And that's forefront. And same with you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. So who is your, may I use the word customer? Who do you serve inside this?
So Haya Ministries is dedicated to women and their children, specifically women suffering from generational trauma, addiction, or mental illness.
Trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking notes.
Yes.
And that would be, what'd you say again? Trauma from?
It could be a variety of things. Could
Okay.
be from childhood. It could be from abusive relationships.
Okay.
It could be, the list kind of goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, do you meet with these people, or do you have a quote unquote place they live? Is it like a halfway house or something like that?
Yeah, great question. Currently, we have Haya groups. Haya groups are taken out into the community, and we work through resources. And it's kind of like a Bible study,
Okay.
but a little bit deeper and different. The current resource that we're using is from an amazing organization, Mercy Multiplied, and it's called Keys to Freedom.
Okay.
And so we work through 7 different keys that will connect them to Christ, to offer them healing and freedom. These groups are, we've ran them online, and now we're getting ready to launch one in Council Bluffs on site at their Full Circle Recovery Hub.
The Full Circle Recovery Hub. Is that a place, or are you defining something?
No, it's a place.
Okay.
So there's Full Circle Recovery. They have an amazing mission where they have a bunch of different, it's just a hub where a bunch of different meetings can come and help people find recovery. So they have 12-step meetings or all recovery meetings. And so we're bringing a faith-based option in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Do you, you're listening to Amanda Lawrence, lives here in the Omaha area. And years ago, she started a ministry called Haya.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
And if you want to know how to get a hold of them online, it is, I had it up here. Tell me again,
CHAYAHMIN.org.
All right, and that will be on the descriptor of this show, so when people look it up, they can automatically see that. All right, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about what are some of the key programs or services that your ministry offers.
Great.
And what I want us to do in the back of our mind, and maybe you already do this, I want you to imagine there's a mother or a father or a grandma or a best friend listening to this, and they're going, boy, is that what so-and-so needs. Because that passion, you've got the passion in your voice. I want them to hear who are the people that you help, not defined by a label, but by the pain, the wounds, and all that.
Okay.
You got me?
Sounds great.
You're doing great. Amanda Lawrence is my guest from Haya Ministries, and it's CHAYAHMIN.org.
You got it.
I did that by memory. And we're coming back. I'm Mac McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. We also want to thank the good folks over at Divine Truth Christian Store for being our worldwide sponsor. It's divinetruthchristian.com. Anything you want, you can order it right from them, or you can go to 84th and Harrison in Omaha and check them out. And thanks for listening to The View from A Pew.
Divine Truth Christian Store.